It was more than 25 years ago that the life of medium Kenneth Drake was changed after a violent and horrifying encounter with the other side. Not a day has gone by that he hasn't heard the voices of the dead. Connecting audiences throughout the world to the other side for more than 25 years, now for the first time, medium Kenneth Drake brings you the terrifying true case files and horrifying stories behind the messages. Enter the world of Kenneth Drake, a world filled with the voices of the dead. Now, your host, Kenneth Drake.
There you are. Good evening. I've been waiting for you. I'm Medium Drake. Welcome to Voices of the Dead. It was more than 25 years ago that my life was forever changed after a violent and terrifying encounter with the other side. And now, for the first time, we're bringing you the stories behind the messages. But we're also going to be joined by a few other voices with their own stories to share. Thank you so much for tuning in. Get comfortable, pour a glass of wine as we share these encounters from the other side. And tonight we're joined by a very special guest, someone that I'm very honored to have on Voices of the Dead with me tonight. Joining me is my lovely partner in crime when it comes to all things otherworldly. Join me in welcoming to Voices of the Dead, celebrity psychic medium Alexandria Saar.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
You are welcome, Alexandria. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us on Voices of the Dead. I'm so glad you're here. When we announced that you would be coming on tonight, the response was just overwhelming. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining our Thursday night party on Voices of the Dead, and can't wait to talk to you. For those of you that are just tuning in to Voices of the Dead tonight, what you may not know is Alexandria and myself, we do so much together when it comes to the paranormal, when it comes to psychic work, psychic readings, mediumship. We teach mediumship development together. And Alexandria, I'm just so honored that you're here on our show tonight. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. Got some very big things coming up. Now, I'm understanding that your book is just a few days away, and it's about to be a bestseller, I'm sure. Tell us a little bit about the book. How did that come about, and when is the actual release of your book?
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me on here. I heard it was going to be a spirit party tonight. I didn't bring the wine.
We're here in the seance room. The spirits are everywhere.
It's always a spirit party on here on Voices of the Dead, and I'm just so honored to be a part of this. You know, I have to say too, for those of you that don't know Medium Drake, he just brings out the light in so many people. And that's one of the things that I really admire about you. So thank you for letting me be a part of that, being a part of watching you help others shine. So I'm a big fan. I'm a fangirl. I am a fan.
Well, I'm a fan of you. And for those of you that are tuning in, perhaps some of you have joined us on tour. We started last year, Alexandria Saar and myself, from time to time, team up, join forces on events, readings, but also the live tour. So I could say the exact same thing about you. I love watching you work. I love your powerful connection to the spirit world. I feel it right now because I'm here in my seance room here in Birmingham, and I feel that power of the spirit right now, even with you just connecting already. Wherever Alexandria Saar goes, that power of the spirit follows her. If you're familiar with her work, I know that you feel that. Something about mediumship, when the power of the spirit comes, you feel that difference. And every time I've ever had the honor of seeing you work, I felt it every single time. So thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for putting up with me on tour. I think we're going to have some announcements coming up a little later in the broadcast, a little later in the show, about ways to see us this fall on tour. But you've already been on tour a lot this year. You've had so many events already on the East Coast. Tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, let's start from the beginning. What actually started this journey in your life? I know the story. It's an amazing story. But for those of you that are tuning in that may not know, she's been doing this for a long time, and she's no stranger to connecting audiences to the other side. So for you, Alexandria, how did that start in your own life?
Oh, great questions. Great questions. And for those of you that also have heard about my book that is coming up, Awaken, a medium's memoir, I'm going to be talking a lot more in depth. I'm not going to give everything away today, but a lot more in depth about, my encounter that led to my awakening, especially with the grieving journey. So not only that, I am talking a lot about my most prominent encounters as a medium. I always like to joke and say I got a spirit entourage that follows me everywhere. It is true. It is true. I always got a spirit entourage just hanging out. They do respect boundaries though, but sometimes, it's fun, especially if, our loved ones in spirit, before a reading, they love to come in early. I call them my spirit entourage. Like, come hang out, guys. I know I may be boring today because I got a fully booked schedule, but you can just, stick around, stay a while, have a glass of wine. For those of you.
I love that.
Yeah. I feel like it's a great way to describe it, a fun way to describe it. And for those of you that, don't know me, I am an evidential medium as well as psychic healer and life coach. And I'm 27 and I've been doing this since I was 18 years old. And actually what started this when I was younger, I always had natural abilities. So the first memories I have were running around playing with my imaginary spirit friends outside, and I would hear and see things. And I'd always go running, trying to find the source, and I can never find the source of it. But, as children, there's so much innocence in that. A lot of children are very brave when they see and connect. Most of the time, it's our loved ones in heaven that just want to come and hang out. It's their God. So as I got older, I actually had 2 near-death drowning experiences. For each time, it was pretty intense. I got saved each time, and after that was 7 and then 9. That's when I got a lot more sensitive. So growing up in the Catholic background, that was my whole world. And I know we have a lot in common about that, growing up in a religious background and having that being such a big part of your life. So it really shaped a lot of my perspective of the world, which is a good thing. It was really fun. Lots of community barbecues and,
those are always fun. That is fun.
Yeah. So after that, I would say high school, they got even more intensified. It was a passing of my grandmother, and that just made paranormal experiences happen everywhere around me. So I didn't really have a full understanding of what it was until I graduated high school in 2013. And my cousin, she was having this medium group party, and I had no clue what it was, but I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go. Going in with a little bit of healthy skepticism. So when I went there, I met my mentor, Nicole Stevens from Hudson, New Hampshire. Shout out to Nicole. You're the best.
Nicole, we love Nicole.
We do. We love her. And when she met me, she was like, you can do what I can do, and I want to help you. So that really changed my life in so many different ways, because I went from being afraid to go into a grocery store to having the confidence to go around crowds. And I'm sure a lot of us that are more sensitive to energy go through those phases, of growing into self-empowerment. I'm not big on emphasizing on the word empath a lot of the time because, I don't feel like we should memorize it. We should more talk about self-empowerment.
I love your perspective. And for those of you that are tuning into Voices of the Dead tonight, of course, I'm joined by celebrity psychic medium Alexandria Saar. One of the many things that you do that is always so inspired me is you have such an incredible way of making spirit relatable to people. And one thing that I've always shared, and something that you and I share together on tour, live events, is that the spirits always have this incredible way of reaching us wherever we are, however we need to be reached, wherever we are, whatever we're going through. And you were sharing in some of your early encounters, just even then, how even at an early age, the spirits were speaking even then. I'm so curious though, and this is one thing you and I've actually never talked about in all of our time together. For you, you've made some very big strides in the entertainment world also. Appearances on the WB network, ABC, NBC, of course, the live tour, the tour that you're doing now. How did it go from these experiences into this is a realization of what I'm going to do with the rest of my life? Can you share a little bit more about that? How did it go into, well, such a platform? You have such a large platform touching people all over the world. How did it go from the experiences that you had into that platform of we're reaching hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people? How did that begin for you?
I love listening to you talk. One of these days I'm gonna have you again.
Thank you for putting up with me. That's the Jameson whiskey on the rocks talking. So cheers to you, and cheers to you for being so beautiful. Cheers to you for tuning in tonight to Voices of the Dead. Yes, please continue. Thank you.
So I would say around 2018, that was the year where there was a lot of big turning points in my life. And one of the biggest turning point was releasing that idea that I had a limitation. That was the biggest thing that helped release me into going full-time as a medium. Because as we know, I know this is one of our favorite quotes too. If it's your calling, it's going to keep on calling you.
So true. Every time you say that, I feel the power of the spirit whenever you say that. It's one of my favorite quotes. I have to attribute that to you. First time I ever heard it, it was you who said it. And it's so true. That limitation that you overcame, is that something that, was it a one-time moment of overcoming, or is it something that you still in your own journey sometimes have to overcome in your work in mediumship?
That is a great question. So there was many different, I would say, in terms of limitation that, I did overcome to step into going full-time. There was that limitation that I had in my mind, confidence. Well, am I good enough to do this? Am I good enough to be a full-time medium? At the time, I was actually an ABA specialist. I was working with children and adults and providing services. So I kept on getting, it's like signs and confirmations and opportunities that kept on coming my way. And eventually, the universe has a really fun way of making it's like making things very loud for you to finally say, okay, it's time. So I got a lot of loud signs that it was time for me to step in and go full time. And when you do that, when you have that sense of trust and belief, the universe will carry you through. Of course, we need to have momentum and we need to take action because, the universe, our higher power, they're not going to do everything for us. There's that support. But one of the biggest things I overcame was confidence. 2018 was one of the most pivotal moments of my healing journey, where I had an awakening experience where I could really fully know and trust that it was okay to surrender to my higher power. It was okay to surrender towards what I always dreamed of, which is, our passion. When we step into our passion, it will flow. It will flow effortlessly. So I started following that. And it's always been a dream and passion of mine, to really share evidential messages with others. There's nothing that makes me happy at the end of the day after my readings that I do, just thinking about how much I helped that person, what their response was, helping someone who has healthy skepticism. As you know, many of us in this field come across a lot of healthy skeptics.
Right.
That feeling of love and those opportunities flowed in where, I was guests on the CW quite a few times, ABC News, and a few other stations where I really got to help other people and just share evidential messages. I feel that's the big message for me, is to bring a perspective changing experience. That's something that's always my goal. And I feel like that's never going to change either. It may, but as of right now, that's what I really like.
Well, for those of you that perhaps have not seen Alexandria Saar live at an event on her tour, she has not only developed that confidence from the spirit, but also that power of the spirit, because, take it from me, she can work a room. No one can work a room the way that Alexandria Saar can. And of course, I say that on tour, she's the star. I'll just sort of be in the background working her merch table, which I'm honored to do. You're really the superstar of everything that we've gotten to do together. But it's so true. And one thing that one of the many things that I'm so inspired by with your story is spirits are looking for people to trust, I feel. And I know that I'm sometimes the odd man out in the psychic industry and the paranormal world when I say that it's more than just a hobby, especially when it comes to mediumship, when it comes to pure, authentic, evidential spirit communication. It's not just what we do, it's who we are. As mediums, it's not something that we do, it's who we are. And one thing that I feel, I've always known this about you from the moment you and I first connected in Kentucky when we were doing television together, there working on some projects, is you have such a platform because the spirits trust you. And there are, I believe, mediums that are listening right now, people that have this passion for the paranormal. And I've said this for years, and I believe this with all my soul. You don't have that passion for the paranormal just because it's a hobby. You have that because the spirit world is calling you to do something in this world, something good in this world. And without a doubt, you have absolutely answered that call. You've absolutely said yes to the spirit world. And I believe there are people out there right now who are having experiences, don't know what to do with. I can so relate to your story because, of course, for those that have maybe been a part of my life for years, or maybe on some of the psychic networks years ago, or on television and radio with things throughout the years, they know with my story, growing up in the very rural South, here in the Bible Belt, just outside of Birmingham, Alabama, we didn't use the word psychic or medium in those days, 25 years ago. It was evil. That's how I was raised. It was such an evil word. You don't consult with spirits. You don't conjure spirits. You don't talk about anything like that. That's the work of the quote unquote devil. And that's what I was raised in. But love what you say, that if it's your calling, it's going to keep on calling. What advice would you have, Alexandria, for people that are listening tonight who are having these experiences? They're hearing voices, they're having these encounters, these paranormal, otherworldly encounters, and no matter what they do, they can't turn it off. They don't know what to do with it. The anxiety is crippling. Sometimes depression is overwhelming, and they're saying, what the fuck do I do with this gift? What is your advice to them if they're experiencing the same calling?
That is so well said. And one of the things I also love about you too, before I answer, is, we do have pretty similar backgrounds. You've had some intense experiences, but I agree. As mediums, as those in any, we're chosen to do that for a reason, because we're all unique individuals. We're all here for a different passion and purpose, especially as mediums. If a spirit doesn't like our energy or they don't want to connect with us, they won't. It's because you're chosen. You're chosen to do that. Spirit can be picky people, so that's something that I have seen a lot. So for those of you that are watching us right now, you've been having some experiences. It may seem overwhelming. My advice to you is you deserve a life of empowerment. A lot of times when we're starting this development journey, we learn how to fully stand in our power. So, myself and collaborated many different times in mediumship development and psychic development. You're having these experiences because you're being called. And it's up to you to tune in to that inner compass. As I say it, tune into that intuition and allow yourself that gift of connection. One of the favorite things that I love as a teacher is when someone discovers that connection within themselves to spirit, to their own energy source. It's just one of the most beautiful, life-changing moments. And you're awakening right now because you've made some decision, some conscious decision, whether it's healing, whether you may have gone through a traumatic encounter. A lot of times when we go through traumatic encounters in our lives, we tend to go through awakenings. So you may have made a conscious decision to even embracing this healing journey, your grieving journey. But you're safe. You are so safe. You're just chosen to look within, to awaken, to honor yourself and get to the fullest potential. So we're
What
here.
you just, Alexandria, I love it. I love it. I love it because I feel the power of the spirit here on this show. I'm not, I've always made myself a promise that when I came back to TV and radio, I'm not doing readings, but the power of the spirit is so strong right now. Hearing you say that, I believe there are people that are tuning in, there are people that are going to watch this replay of this broadcast who are having these experiences. And so many times with what I do, with what you do, and when we're teaching mediumship development together, when we get to join forces, which is always such an honor to do anything with you. When we encounter these people, there are so many people who have that question, is this safe? Is it safe? Is it safe to talk to spirits? Is it safe to, and I have to say, and I'm probably going to be the odd man out on this, but I've done this for a long time. I don't give a damn these days. So obviously I'm a little uncensored these days. There's so much of a fear-based mindset when it comes to spirit communication. And it's because of improper teaching. Now, that's not to say that people have to share my philosophy. That's not to say that my beliefs or my philosophy are the only correct philosophies. I'm not someone that's out here trying to preach to people and telling them what to believe. But when it comes to the work of the spirit in mediumship and in pure, authentic, I'm not talking about popular paranormal shows. I'm not talking about what you see on Travel Channel, Discovery, all of those well and good. I'm a fan, by the way, so love all of my paranormal friends. But I'm talking about the work of pure, authentic spirit communication. And it's the fear-based mindset based in improper, faulty teaching that keeps that wall up. And one thing that I always share, and I know I've heard you share this as well, when it comes to that connection, the very first thing you're going to have to do is realize I'm safe. I'm safe in this connection. I'm safe. There's nowhere, and for those of you that are tuning in right now to Voices of the Dead, I want you to know if you're having these experiences, there is nowhere more safe. I'm going to try not to get choked up and start crying and making a mess because after all these years, it still touches me. I'm still in awe of it. There is nowhere more safe than the power of the spirit. And I love what you just shared, Alexandria, because I believe there are people out there that are watching, that are tuning in, that are listening to this broadcast all around the world who are having these experiences. They're fighting these experiences because they don't think it's safe. And one thing that I can promise you tonight is there is nowhere in this entire existence more safe for you than in the power of the spirit. And so with these experiences that you're having, as Alexandria shared, you're safe. We have an entire team. We've got cheerleaders behind the scenes. I believe that. We've got people behind the scenes that are cheering us on, guides, spirits, angels, all of this otherworldly stuff. They're not wasting their time to try to scare you. The spirit world has no interest in scaring you. The spirit world is calling you to do something good in this world. And I'm so glad that you've accepted the call, Alexandria. You're changing so many people. And from me to you, I'm just so honored to see what you're doing. And I can't wait to buy this book when it comes out. In fact, for those that are just tuning into Voices of the Dead tonight, I'm joined by celebrity psychic medium Alexandria Saar, my lovely partner when it comes to all things otherworldly. She and I are going to be joining forces on tour this fall. Can't wait to see you. We'll share a little bit more about that a little later in the broadcast. But I have to admit, I've gotten a little bit of a sneak peek behind the scenes of parts of this book because you and I have the same literary agent in New York. So we've kind of talked about this. This is a masterpiece that's going to be coming out. Those were his words. When he spoke to me and told me that he had been given a glimpse of your book, Awaken, a Medium's Memoir, his word was masterpiece. He says, this is going to be a masterpiece. So it's on pre-sale now. People can order that. I believe it's already available for pre-sale on Amazon, I believe. But when you were even writing this book, I'm curious because, and maybe it's the writer in me, since you and I share the same literary agent and some things that we do. I always love hearing about how the process flows. Something inspired you to share this. Why now, after all of these years of doing what you're doing, what was it about this season in your life that made you feel inspired to say, now's the time to do this? I've got a lot of stories. It's time to write a book now. Why now? And what do you think made you feel so inspired to do that now in this season of your life?
That is such a great question. So, Awaken Medium's memoir that will be out August 15th. I have been going back and forth with writing this for about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I have that much. I allow myself to be inspired before I do something. That means that it's fun. That means that it's ready. And when I started, I always felt really era honor stages of healing and growth in one's life. Spirit, doing little bits and pieces, and then coming back to it. Because in life, we go through stages of growth, healing, and a near grieving journey. So that's why 2008, and it felt at the time, hey, come back and revisit this when you've, stepped into even more growth for your passions, things that you like. And then months ago, one day I was going for a walk, and that sometimes I get like state sometimes. Sometimes even when I walk, it's just because I like the day, and it down. I felt better with certain stages that I own, what I can use to share to help others. But it gives others confidence and courage. So really here to, and I ready for a strong spirit. You gotta wait. Next 2 years, spirit helped inspire me along that path. So that has always been. I'm really honored to share the story with you all. To sneak tonight to talk a little bit about the story, but there is definitely a lot that a lot of you maybe haven't learned. Helpful for you, perhaps. Calling. May this step to really discover why you have experiences around you. Why is there a spirit party or a spirit entourage hanging out around me right now? Do something with that.
There's so much spirit activity in here, even in my office, and I feel it right there where you are.
Yeah.
On this is intense energy here tonight. So if you're just tuning in to Voices of the Dead tonight, of course, I'm Medium Drake, and I'm so honored to be joined by celebrity psychic medium Alexandria Saar, talking about her upcoming book, Awaken Medium's Memoir. And I feel already, Alexandria, there's going to be so much, not only success, because as you and I share on tour, success always follows passion. When you're doing what you're passionate about, when you're doing what you know you're called to do, when you do what you love, when you feel good, when you're sometimes as simple as that, when you're doing what feels good, that success is going to follow. But when we even made the announcement that you and I would be joining forces, teaming up tonight, that you would be a guest on Voices of the Dead, I know my office received at least 200 emails asking about this book. So when this book comes out, it's only a matter of days away. I believe the worldwide release is August 15th. You'll be able to find that wherever books are sold. And this is going to be something that not only do I feel I know, I don't think I know, I don't believe it, I know it. It's going to touch the world. It's going to change so many lives. And about to take a commercial break. But before we go to our first commercial break, I just have to say, I'm so honored. I'm so honored. I don't even have the words to even put it out there. I'm so honored to be joining you on tour this fall. Of course, you've already been on tour, so many events already this year. I sometimes joke that Alexandria Saar is on the never-ending tour. She's always somewhere. She's always very busy, always doing appearances. But I just want to say I'm so honored to be joining you on tour this fall, commemorating my 25th anniversary tour. So thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for joining forces with me. We're going to be coming to Massachusetts for a very large event in the Boston area in Quincy, October 28th. And for people that are just tuning in, or for people that have asked about this, it's going to be one of those experiences that you're not going to want to miss. It's Halloween weekend. The veil is thin. The power of the Spirit is going to be incredible. And when we come back from this commercial break, we're going to tell you how you can get some free VIP tickets on us to be there and partake in that experience and connect with the spirit world. But we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with Voices of the Dead.
This is Patty Negri.
Hi, I'm Pete Orbea.
Hi, this is Nicole Strickland.
My name is Hero.
My name is Sean Clem.
Hey everybody, Cleet Keith here, author of Ghost of Greystone Beverly Hills. I'm excited to invite you to the OC Paracon, which is going to be the first week in October.
Now that's just some of the people you're going to meet at Orange County Paracon. That would be Anaheim's first ever paranormal conference. I'm Henry, the organizer and also the host of Paranormal Perception, inviting you to meet those people that you just saw. You'll meet everybody, including some guests, some people that we haven't even announced on the website. It's going to be a surprise. Everything, info, tickets available on that website, ocparacon.com. Hope to see you to kick off our favorite time of the year in Anaheim at OC Paracon.
Take us with you on the go and download the new WLTK-DB mobile app. Search the App Store and Google Play under WLTK-DB Talk Radio. Download free today. The unexplained. It's all around us and usually supplies more questions than answers. You need answers. You need Cross Country Paranormal. Founded by Benjamin Young, CCP seeks to train, educate, and mentor anyone that has a passion for the paranormal. CCP is building a network of teams and investigations across the country, and all experience levels are welcome. Learn more about CCP on their website, ccpinvestigations.com, where you can find frequently asked questions, check out their equipment, follow their latest events, and of course, shop. Visit them now at ccpinvestigations.com. That's ccpinvestigations.com. Cross Country Paranormal. All are welcome. All are family.
Welcome back to Voices of the Dead. Good evening. I'm Medium Drake, your host of Voices of the Dead. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this experience. I'm joined tonight by celebrity psychic medium Alexandria Saar. And for those of you that are just tuning in to Voices of the Dead, I want to say a very special thank you to my amazing producer, the wonderful team of people behind the scenes. I couldn't do what I do all these years without some pretty incredible people behind the scenes doing what they do. So I want to say a very special thank you to my producer, Todd Bates, and to the entire team at WLTK. For those of you that are tuning in tonight, stay up to date, stay connected with the very best in paranormal talk radio, also the very best in horror, the very best in spirituality. By downloading the app, it's a way to stay connected to WLTK on the go. It ensures you don't miss a moment of the very best in paranormal programming. All these years later, after being in the psychic industry for years and being in sometimes the horror genre for years and talking about paranormal experiences, and when I had the opportunity to return to television and radio, I have to be very honest, there's only one place that I would even have considered coming home to, and I'm so proud to be a part of this family at WLTK. So we invite you, wherever you are in the world, come on home. If you're looking for a paranormal home, congratulations, you just found it. Welcome to WLTK. Download the app, stay connected, and I've got some amazing things coming up. It was 25 years ago that my life was changed after a violent, horrifying, terrifying encounter with the other side. And tonight I'm joined by celebrity psychic medium Alexandria Saar. We were talking about how when the spirit world gets our attention, it's a calling. Well, for me, all those years ago, have to be honest, Alexandria, it didn't seem like a blessing. It seemed like a fucking curse. I didn't want it. It was horrifying. I wanted nothing to do with it. And then when it happened, I realized that the messages are serving a purpose, as you said, as you teach. If it's your calling, it's going to keep on calling. Well, now I have the opportunity to share some of those stories behind the scenes here on Voices of the Dead, but also we're sharing the stories and the voices of others who've been inspired, encouraged, empowered by the power of the spirits in their own lives, in their own ways, and have some amazing things coming up. Going to be celebrating the 50th anniversary of The Exorcist, one of my favorite horror films, coming up next week on the show. I'll be joined by the legendary horror icon Eileen Dietz, and also a very special announcement for those of you that are fans of horror rock and more of the spooky side of things. If you're like me, you like things a little spooky, well, I'm going to be joined, believe it or not, you may want to sit down for this, by the former lead vocalist of the Misfits, the legendary Mikhail Graves, is going to be joining me to discuss how he's been inspired by the horror of the other side. And sometimes when spirit first gets our attention, it can be horrifying. But sometimes the most horrifying things lead to the most beautiful stories, the most beautiful things, the most gorgeous encounters. And that's the purpose of Voices of the Dead. And tonight we're hearing the voice of really a pioneer in many ways in the psychic industry, my partner in crime when it comes to all things otherworldly, the lovely, the talented, the beautiful celebrity psychic medium Alexandria Saar. And she's been sharing with us her upcoming book coming out on August 15th, going to be released worldwide, Awaken, a medium's memoir. But we're also going on tour together this fall. We're going to be coming to the Boston area Halloween weekend. Alexandria, first of all, why are you putting up with me on tour? That's what I want to know. Why are you putting up with my psychotic ass on tour? You could be touring with anyone. First of all, thank you. But what are you looking forward to most on our tour this fall?
Well, first, you coming into my life has been one of the biggest blessings. So you can come on as many tours as you would love to. You know,
Thank
but
you.
I'm such a fangirl of you, and I just love watching you help other people, and you guys, when you get to be a part of, the Kenneth and Alex experience at Alavan, you get to see the Kenneth. He just has so much light, and his deliverance and the way he connects with people, it's like an experience that you gotta see it. You just gotta see it. It's hard to even describe. The best way I can describe it is there's just so much light. I gotta grab some shades for myself too when I'm standing right next to you.
People always I get so many messages about that. Of course, our beautiful friend Jacqueline, who always jokes about me wearing the glasses. It's not the reason for it is if I'm doing readings all day, sometimes it's the sensitivity to light, because I've been doing readings all day. So, but I feel naked when I'm not wearing these now. This tour, when it was first announced that we would be teaming up, joining forces at the end of summer, beginning of fall, to go on tour together, all roads are now leading to Quincy, back to the Q, which is your original hometown, and where so much of this started for you in Quincy. We're going to be there at the Quincy Adams Inn, right there on the banks of this incredible river. I'm thinking maybe the ghost of Whitey Bulger may join up for a few shots if we're lucky. All of the amazing moments of spirit activity that we've encountered in that area, as powerful as it is, I can't wait to be there Halloween weekend, and especially with you. Tickets are still available, but when we first made the announcement, one of the very first things that sold out was our VIP package, which includes, of course, we'd love to meet you. I want to hang out with you. I'd love to have a drink with you, talk to you. But that was one of the things that sold out first. Well, now, because of some of our promoters behind the scenes who are able to help us do this, there's a very special promotion, a very special package that's now available. Tell us a little bit about that, Alexandria, because I know they can do this on your personal website now.
Yes, so my offices of the Team Drake, we've combined together, created this discounted special because we just want to reach as many as possible. Our spirit, that beautiful evidence and just be part of that energy that is life changing in itself.
Mm.
Cards offering discounted space where you can get a reading with and with me. You even have to find us, but we're offering clear by phone. And if you purchase this special, you will get a pair of free tickets to our upcoming October 28th. And there is something special about doing an event during the month, especially right near Halloween. You know, if you understand the energy of spirit, or wants to come in even stronger. So that's specifically why we chose that, and because we're in the Salem area, so we're gonna Salem as well.
Mhm.
There are friends in the paranormal community.
Mhm.
That's something, because you guys still has not experienced Salem yet, so we got to get him over there.
Can you believe that? People are shocked whenever they hear that. They think we're joking when we say that. I haven't. Every time I've been through the Boston area, done events in Cambridge. We had an event in Cambridge last year, Halloween weekend. Every time I'm there, we're always there for a whirlwind trip on business. I've never had to actually have the opportunity to just spend a few days touring Salem. So I've got to do that. And if you're tuning in tonight, if you're in that area, I need a tour guide. So help us, join us, and show us around the area, because from what I've heard and from what I've experienced, just that area there, we can't wait to see you. I was sharing something and thank you, by the way, for having me on your live on your Facebook page. For those of you that are just tuning in, you can connect with Alexandria Saar on Facebook. Our page is Psychic Medium Alexandria Saar. But I had the honor of joining you on your Facebook Live only a few days ago, and shared this story. Just a few days ago, I had a message from someone that's been with me as a client of mine for a few years now. Single mother, 39 years old, single mother. We connected while she was going through the divorce. She connected with me. We've been together for a few years now. And she was sharing something that it touched my heart. And I'm going to try to say this without crying and getting emotional tonight. But she was talking about how she wanted to be a part of this experience. And so she was actually making plans to change the family vacation. Instead of going to the beach, they're coming to the Boston area. They're going to tour Salem just as a way to see us and come to this event. And that wasn't the only message like that I've gotten. And I say that to say, the idea that someone would change their family vacation to see me, what the hell? To come and hang out with us because they want to experience the power of the spirit world in these live events? What? I don't have words for that. It brings tears to my eyes. I get choked up every time I share that, because for people that have connected with me throughout the years, whether it was maybe 25 years ago, you were watching television late one night and you were feeling a little lonely and you saw those cheesy, fun, classic late night psychic infomercials, and you just picked up the phone and gave a call, and well, we've been together ever since. For some of you, maybe you've seen me on tour, maybe you've read some of my work in Sedona Journal or some of my automatic writings that were published, but maybe you've been part of an investigation with me. But one thing that I know that Alexandria Saar and myself share, we have this in common, is when you connect with us, you're not just a voice on the other end of the phone. You're not just a beautiful face on Zoom. You matter. When we have these experiences with our clients, people that connect with us, no matter what you're going through in life, whether it's a breakup, divorce, whether it's connecting with mom and dad or family members in the spirit world, it matters. It matters. The philosophy of the work matters. I was sharing something earlier. And today I want to join all of my fellow spiritualists throughout the world in giving my condolences to the family, the friends of Reverend Janet No Havoc, from the Journey Within Spiritualist Church in New Jersey, who suddenly passed today. All of these great generals, these powerful ambassadors of the spirit world, well, now they're passing into spirit. Now they're stepping over into the spirit world. And a new generation, other generals, are rising up to answer the call of the paranormal world, of the spirit world. So the spirits are always speaking. It's not just with me. It's not just with Alexandria. We're not just having these crazy experiences that we're getting to enjoy, but I'm so shocked, Alexandria. The spirits are touching everybody all over the world with what they're doing, getting people's attention. And so I want to just say right now, that's part of why I'm so thankful that our promoters behind the scenes were able to put this promotion on. $125, and you get an hour with Alexandria and an hour with me. And also 2 tickets to the show in Quincy on October 28th. Now, how can people actually take advantage of that, Alexandria? What's the best way for them to take advantage of that promotion?
Question. So for those of you that would love to come see the Kenneth and Alex Drake experience, really, really having the beautiful, the best in years, private, my page, Psychic Medium Alexandria Saar. You can email spiritmediumalex@gmail.com, or you can visit alexstarmedium.com. For those of you that haven't met or haven't, page, you can spell my name SAAR, SAAR. And I'm just so honored to have my lovely partner right here, doing these events with me, touring the world together. He is absolutely a rarity. And it's such an honor to see you in your.
Thank you.
So much for
Thank
having
you.
me. It is such an honor. And I know everyone on here, you got a lot of them, including myself.
Oh, well, I'm a fan of you. And if you're tuning in tonight, wherever you are in the world, if you've been with us for a long, long time, or if you're just joining us for the first time tonight, wherever you are in the world, I'm a fan of you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for having these encounters with us. Thank you for connecting with the spirit world with us. And I can't wait to see so many of you in person. This is when we were teaming up on this joint tour. It's coinciding with my, well, believe it or not, 25th anniversary. I started young, a long, long time ago. All those years ago, I was a crazy kid having these crazy experiences, and now I'm just the crazy older guy still having those same damn experiences. So thank you for being a part of my life all these years. Thank you for tuning in. And also to Alexandria Saar, thank you for the honor of having me on tour with you. Thank you for bringing, in many ways, I have to give you the credit for this. You actually got me out of retirement. I said I would never tour again 2 years ago, and you inspired me to get back out there. So thank you. I'm seeing this whole other generation now where people are having these experiences, having these encounters. And of course, you and I together have had a few encounters of our own. One of the cases that we're asked about most when you and I do shows together, in fact, when you and I first connected, so those of you that are listening tonight, you may not be aware of this. Alexandria and I first connected in the summer of 2019. I was working as a consultant on the launch of a paranormal show in California. Sometimes I advise behind the scenes on shows that are in production, and they needed other mediums for this show. And I thought, well, here in the Bible Belt, here in the rural South, I don't know of any other mediums. Well, long story short, connected with Alexandria, my life hasn't been the same since. So we've partnered on some events, we've partnered on readings, we've partnered on so many things. And so to my lovely partner, thank you for all of these incredible experiences. But we've also had some very horrifying experiences. And one thing that we're always asked about most is, well, your cases in the Bridgewater Triangle area, also the case that we partnered together on, which actually gained some national attention. We weren't expecting that. Of course, called what we came to call, what's come to be called the Cursed Relic case in Hyannis. All of these experiences, it can be horrifying, and there are people having these experiences. But what of everything, not only the things that we've done together, but of even your home clearing cases? Of course, you and I were together even on the home clearing case in Hyannis, also in the Bridgewater Triangle, that the poltergeist case there in the Bridgewater Triangle area. Of all of the experiences that you've had, what are some of the most memorable experiences with these types of cases?
Yeah, we have had so many intense experiences together. And, my life has never been the same as well. You've been one of the biggest blessings in my life. So I am just honored. And we have had, some heavier cases where we have.
It's got pretty heavy, yeah.
Pace yourself. We actually did help with an exorcism case as well. I'm not going to go into too many details on that tonight, but that's one that's more on the heavier end of things. doing a home clearance case in Bridgewater. This home was actually right next to a graveyard, and it was I would say what 19
Yeah.
1862.
Mhm.
So that was definitely an interesting experience for us. But I would say even before that, some of my most prominent home cases where I would help some lost spirits find their way to the light, because a lot of times we experience paranormal activity, and it's a spirit that's not our loved one. The majority of the time, they're just they
Mm.
just need to
It's true. Yeah,
am I
it's
right?
true.
Push the
Great.
light.
Yeah.
So I underwent training, and I learned how to help spirits cross into the light. It's something that I'm retired from doing home clearings. I love everything paranormal. So if there's a good ghost hunt, let me know. Count me in.
I completely agree. And for those of you that are tuning in, of course, if you followed me on social media or tuned into the show or seen us on tour, you know that for the most part, I'm retired from a lot of things these days. Of course, now I devote more time to writing and teaching behind the scenes. But I'm with you on that, Alexandria. I agree completely. That was one experience that was regarding the Hyannis cursed relic case. Uh, was not expecting it. Didn't even know how it would end. And it's one of those things now coming up on 3 years later, it's the thing we're asked about most. I think for people that are just tuning in, you have this call, you have this passion for the paranormal, you realize something's calling me, there's a reason we're having these experiences. And that's part of why I keep it lighthearted here on Voices of the Dead, while we're not just talking about some of the more horrifying things, but also bringing you stories from music, stories from the horror movies, because in some way we've all been touched by or impacted in some way by the other side. We all have those questions. And when you and I were part of that investigation, it was one of those investigations that, as you said, it truthfully turned into an exorcism. We actually brought in other people to assist us on that. But I'm seeing so many lives that are changed, and so much angelic help behind the scenes, where even Archangel Michael was such a big part of that experience. So one thing that we share, regardless of your background, regardless of what you believe, we're not out here on tour telling people what you're supposed to believe or preaching to people about what you need to believe. Whatever you believe, we believe in you and want you to know that you have helpers. You're not alone. I know it feels like you are, but you're never alone. We have a team of people behind the scenes. And I'm so excited to be partnering with you, Alexandria Saar, for this special promotion. Tell us a little bit about your website. Are there other events coming up? Now, I know you've just come back from North Carolina very recently. Brews on Main there, wonderful place on Main Street, beautiful area, one of my favorite places. You do a lot in Fuquay Arena. Is there anything else planned after October for you, or what's coming up after that for you?
No, this is actually our event that we're doing. This is the last event of the year. Myself and Kenneth, we do have some pretty big things in the works. That does include a full film production. Does include a camera crew, and that's something that is going to be our surprise for you. So I am slowing down. We can focus on some of those big projects that are coming up. The next event that I will have, and I'll most likely be inviting Kenneth to join, because he is just incredible. Most likely 2023. For now, I'm just focusing on some projects that are here. But yes, I love coming back to Massachusetts. For those of you that know me, you know that is my hometown. There's just much nice history to learn about. Not too far away. Just to drive on. But yeah, as of right now, I'm taking a little bit of a step back after this event, so we can focus on some things, focus on some projects that I have. I am offering well. Those are also at a discounted price. So if you're interested in booking a reading, you could private page Psychic Medium Alexandria Saar, email spiritmedium@gmail.com, or you can visit my website at saarmedium.com. And yeah, we still have that promotion going on for those of you that would like to come see us in October. So yeah, we have a lot of good things.
And I'm so honored to be a part of this promotion with you. I'm so thankful to the people behind the scenes. As I was saying earlier, couldn't do what I do all these years without so many incredible people behind the scenes doing what they do. So thank you to our promoters for even making this special promotion possible for our tour, coming to Quincy in Massachusetts, October 28th. And with this special promotion, you get 2 free tickets to the VIP meet and greet. Can't wait to hang out with you. If you're tuning in, can't wait to see you there. Can't wait to spend time with you. And as Alexandria was saying, we've got a very special announcement that we're making tonight. This event is going to be filmed. So we're bringing a little bit of Hollywood to the Quincy area with us for this event. And that's, can't get into this now, but that's going to sort of springboard into some things that we're coming up with in the new year. So if you're part of this, if you're going to be a part of this experience with us and connect with the power of the spirit world, well, you may just be a part of our upcoming TV projects that we're going to be working with in the new year. And I think the spirits are camera ready. So I think the spirits are getting ready for this. I think the spirits are already excited about joining us in Massachusetts. You know, with your work, Alexandria, with what you do, what would you say is the biggest takeaway for you with what you've learned, what you're still learning? Of course, even after all these years, I'm still learning. What's the biggest takeaway for you? What's that purpose? We've got just about 3 minutes left. What is that takeaway? What do the spirits really want us to know? If there was one thing they wanted us to know, what would that be?
That is that. You asked the perfect thought-provoking questions. I love that. You know, my big play, my career as a medium, life coach, healer, and psychic, spirit wants us all how they are to us, that when we think about them, it's instantaneous. Everything around is so. Maybe you're thinking, and they call you on the phone. That's how connection to spirit works. Your loved one goes above and beyond, and they try so hard to help you and show you that you're there. And one of my favorite things that I see is when that one person makes that conscious decision. I know I'm safe. I know I want to put myself up to maybe even connect to my loved one. I wanna know that I'm safe. That's my gift. Things start unraveling naturally. Psychics, all of us making that comment. I'm experience. I'm acting. And you're big way. You know, and I can't tell you how many people, and it's an honor that grow up background around a. I have the honor to connect and bring a perspective changing experience. And that is something that makes me happy. It makes me emotional because be the, allowing yourself to connect and reflect. You know, I welcome all the systems. It's so interesting to learn about them. But you know, also with mediums, I've worked with higher powers, you know, angels, God. I work with all of that, and sometimes it's shocking to others. Whatever belief system you have, you're welcome to pull up a chair right next to me, and hopefully we can connect in a way that will fill you with.
What you just said, Alexandra, is one of the most powerful things. You say so many powerful things, but that was one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. You put it so beautifully. For those of you that have tuned in tonight, I've been so honored to have been joined by celebrity psychic medium Alexandria Saar. She and I do so many things together. She's my partner when it comes to all things otherworldly. We're going to be going on tour. Some of those promotional packages are still available. You can visit her website for that or visit her Facebook page for that. Also, if you're on social media, connect with me, Medium Drake, and my moderator there can give you all the information you need about promotional packages with me. Thank you. Thank you. And Alexandria Saar, thank you. Thank you for being who you are. And for those of you that are just now tuning in, thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for even being a part of all of these spiritual encounters that we have. The spirits are still speaking, and they have a hell of a lot to say. And signing off tonight, we're going to share what we share at every live event that Alexandria Saar and myself are a part of. You're going to be around for a long, 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 long time. Make it a good time. So tonight, I'm Medium Drake. I've been your voice to the other side tonight. And for some of you, all these years, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning into Voices of the Dead. Thank you to the beautiful family of broadcasters at WLTK. So from all of us tonight at Voices of the Dead, have your own spiritual encounters. When you start hearing these voices, remember, they're serving a purpose and there's a calling behind it. We love you.
Bye, everybody. We love you. Good night.